What is Avail and why do you care about it? So Avail is a fairly new rental platform. It's basically the competition to Zillow Rental Manager. And the reason why you care about it is because if you are in the long-term space, meaning you are renting an unfurnished property for like a year plus, it's a really good place to pick up tenants, but it's also an excellent place for midterm hosts / landlords to pick up tenants as well. In fact, I think Avail and Zillow Rental Manager are two of the best opportunities for people in the midterm space. And the reason why I think that is because I think a lot of your competition isn't thinking about these sites as much. They're more focused on Furnish Finder, Airbnb, and then going one-to-one with insurance agencies or travel nursing agencies, which I think is counterproductive because I think those agencies are probably just looking at the big websites. So when we talk about the big websites, Airbnb, Zillow Rental Manager, Furnish Finder, VRBO, but I'm going to add Avail to it because I believe if you're on Airbnb, Avail, and Zillow, you are probably going to have coverage of like 98% of the market. So that is a strong place to be, and it means you'll probably get your rental rented. The soft / hard brag here, I have a 92% occupancy rate, so I feel pretty confident about my ability to tell you how to rent your place. Be strong on the platforms and be less concerned about who the end tenant is, because that will give you greater coverage, more eyes, better opportunity for the tenants. Now that you know why I like Avail and why I think it's important to use, let me show you how to use it. Okay, we are starting with the assumption that you already have an account in Avail and you want to add a property. You should be paying attention to the upper left-hand corner because we're going to navigate from there. Toward the bottom of there, you'll see an option to add a property, in which case you can choose what type of property you're going to add, a building, and then you're going to put in the address, and doing this, they'll use the data to then populate a lot of the information that they already have on the property. You can choose the property type. Okay, and now we're going to do list the unit. Okay, and then we're going to build the listing from here, and it's going to take us to the basics, which is just the bed, bath, square footage, and the parking configuration. Once we leave the basics, it's going to take us to terms, and we do want to modify the price here. We're going to move it to a midterm rental price because it's populating a long-term rental price. We are also going to match the security deposit to 1 month's rent. Okay, so here I'm just going to put in some dummy dates because it's not a real rental. What you care about is the lease duration. So depending on what your HOA or whatever allows, the default is 1 year, but you're going to modify it for whatever you want. So 30 days, 6 months, 3 months here in Avail. Then you'll see a move-in fee. I don't charge a move-in fee on midterms, but I do on long terms. Anything where they're moving furniture in and out, it's appropriate to charge a move-in fee. If they're not moving their own furniture in and out, then you don't. I don't charge a parking fee, and then I do allow for pets, and I put it for small dogs, and to me, small dogs means 40 pounds or less. If you feel like you're learning something, please like this video. Okay, so the next section is going to be photos. I'm just going to add one because, again, this is a dummy listing. They want you to add 3. I think a best practice is a minimum of 5. I am just going to add 1 right now, and then we're going to go to the next section, which is the amenities. And what I really like about this is not only is it easy to fill out, but their amenities that they're talking about here are probably the ones that are most in demand based off of their data. So it's also a good place to pull from when you're thinking about what to highlight in your listing. After that, we're going to go to utilities. This is a little tricky on a midterm rental because you have to decide what you're going to pay for versus what they're going to pay for. But again, all the options are right here, and it's just so easy to use. Okay, now it's going to prompt us to put in our contact information and then the title and description. Pay attention to the title and description because they have a suggested title and a suggested description. I think you can do better than these, and what I mean by that is just put in really specific information. And what I mean by really specific information is how far you are from certain appealing parts of the city, if you're pet friendly, if you have a hot tub on site, anything that is a real benefit to the tenant you want to put in there versus the generic description that they're going to offer. In the body of the rental, so where they're offering their description here, I think it's okay, but I like to put plus signs in front of things or a bullet list just so that it's easier for people to read. Now you can set up the time slots for showings. I like this too because you'll see, we'll go back to it, but it shows email tenant a reminder the morning of and 1 hour before the showing. So just trying to really stay in front of people to remind them that it's coming up so that your time isn't wasted if they no-show you. After this step, they're going to ask you to review and publish. And so when that happens, they're also going to point out some ways that you could strengthen your listing. In this case, they're saying 3 photos of the property, but also interestingly, underneath this, you can see lead settings and you can see apply from Avail listing, automatically invite leads to apply, include screening report with application. And these are items that you can't see it, but there's a nav bar up at the top that you can go through after this listing is completed. Okay, then we're just going to scroll down and make sure that all the information looks right. After this, they're going to send us a code to confirm our contact information. And then they're going to ask us for some personal information so that they can also confirm that the landlord is who they say they are. Same way we would want the tenant to be confirmed. So you have to put in the last 4 of your social and your date of birth. All right, after that, you can publish, and here you can see it takes up to 24 hours, but it's going to be listed on all these sites plus 13 more sites. All right, now they are going to ask us to do an application. That will be the second video of this series. I will link to it in the body of this video, and also you should see a link on the screen.